David had always thought his neighbor was strange, but he'd attributed it to cultural differences. Mino had moved into the apartment next door 6 months ago, and while she was polite enough, there was something otherworldly about her. Literally, as it turned out. The knock came at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, sharp and precise like everything else about Mino. David opened the door to find her standing in the hallway, her pale blue skin almost luminescent under the flickering fluorescent lights. Her large dark eyes held an intensity that made his stomach clench. "David," she said, her voice carrying that melodic quality that had always made him pause. "I need your help." He'd known Mino was different from the start. Her skin had an unusual translucent quality, and her movements were too fluid, too graceful, for a human. But it wasn't until now, seeing her in the harsh hallway light, that he realized just how different she was. "You're not human," he said, the words tumbling out before he could stop them. Mino's expression didn't change. "No. I am Zephyrian. My species has been living among yours for centuries, blending in, observing." She paused, her gaze steady. "I am what you would call a widow. My mate died 3 years ago during a reconnaissance mission on Kepler 442b. David's mind reeled. Aliens, living among humans. His neighbor was an actual extraterrestrial being. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I need something only a human can provide." Mino stepped closer, and David caught a faint scent like ozone and starlight. "My people are dying, David. A plague has swept through our home system. We need genetic diversity to survive. And human DNA. It's compatible with ours in ways we never expected." "You want my DNA?" David asked, his voice cracking slightly. "Not just your DNA, your cooperation. Your species possesses something we lack: adaptability under extreme stress. Humans have survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and countless extinctions. You've thrived in conditions that would destroy most civilizations." Mino's eyes seemed to glow faintly in the dim light. "We need that resilience." David backed into his apartment, and Mino followed without invitation. She moved to his window, gazing out at the city lights below. "Your species fascinates us," she continued. "Where other races would have given up, humans persist. Where logic would dictate surrender, you fight. When faced with impossible odds, you find a way." She turned back to him. "My mate used to say humans were the universe's greatest anomaly, a species that should have died out eons ago but instead conquered their entire planet. What exactly are you asking me to do?" David's voice was steadier now, though his heart still pounded. Mino reached into her jacket and pulled out a small crystalline device that pulsed with soft blue light. "This is a biosynthesizer. It would allow me to carry offspring with human Zephyrian hybrid genetics. The child would have the best of both species, our advanced intellect and longevity, your adaptability and determination." David stared at the device. "And if I say no? Then my species dies out within 2 generations. Mino's voice carried no manipulation, just simple fact. "We've grown too specialized, too dependent on perfect conditions. The plague exposed our weakness. We need what humanity has, the ability to survive anything." The weight of the moment settled on David's shoulders. An entire alien civilization's survival rested on his decision. Why me? Why not approach governments, scientists? Because governments would want to study us, exploit us. Scientists would want to dissect us. Mino moved closer again. "But you. I've watched you for 6 months, David. You feed stray cats. You help elderly neighbors with their groceries. You show kindness without expectation of reward. That's the human trait we need most: compassion coupled with strength." David looked at the device, then at Mino. Her alien features were beautiful, in their strangeness, and there was something profound in her eyes, hope mixed with desperation. "The child," he said finally. "What would happen to them?" "They would be raised knowing both cultures. They would be the bridge between our species. The first of a new generation that could help both humans and Zephyrians reach for the stars. Together." Mino's voice softened. I would not ask this lightly, David. Among my people, this is sacred. I'm offering you not just participation in our survival, but partnership in our future. David thought of all the science fiction movies. He'd watched all the books he'd read about first contact. None of them had prepared him for this moment. Quiet, personal, and utterly real. If I agree, he said slowly, I want to know everything. About your people, your technology, your culture. I want to understand what I'm helping to preserve. Mino's expression brightened, literally. Her skin seemed to glow with inner light. You would have access to knowledge spanning millennia. Star maps, technologies that could revolutionize your world, philosophies that could transform human understanding of existence itself. David reached out his hand. Then I guess I'm in. As their fingers touched, the biosynthesizer pulsed brighter, and David felt a strange warmth spread up his arm. He was no longer just David from apartment 4B. He was humanity's representative in the galaxy's greatest collaboration. Thank you, Mino whispered, and in her voice, David heard the gratitude of an entire civilization. Outside, the city hummed with its usual nighttime energy, unaware that the future of two species had just been decided in a small apartment by a widow's desperate hope and a human's inexplicable willingness to help a stranger reach for tomorrow.